In this lab, you will be performing 20 different experiments, so you will need to obtain 20 test tubes. Place them in a test tube rack. Each of your experiments is qualitative, meaning you are recording observations about what happened, not exact measurements. Therefore, you do not need to carefully measure your reactants. Instead, you should add about 20 drops of each reactant to the test tube. This is equivalent to about 1 milliliter. Record all observations and be as specific as possible. Specifically, if you produce something cloudy that you cannot see through, it means you have formed a solid. If you have a transparent solution, it is possible no reaction happened. You should check back in a few minutes to confirm. You should also feel the test tube and note if it feels hot or cold. A change in temperature would indicate that a reaction did indeed occur, and the product was a liquid. Finally, the formation of bubbles indicates a gas was formed. For each test tube, you will need to write a molecular equation, an ionic equation, and a net ionic equation. First, predict your products by exchanging the cations. Be sure your molecules are neutral. Use solubility rules to predict the phases. Be sure to balance your equation. This is your molecular equation. Now separate anything aqueous into its ions. Be sure to include charges and phases. This is your ionic equation. Now cancel any spectators, things that don't change from the left to the right. In this case, that was sulfate and sodium. Everything else remains in your net ionic equation. Your net ionic equation should be balanced, and it describes what actually changed during the reaction. In this case, copper ions and hydroxide ions combined to form a solid. After the lab, all of your test tube contents should go in a waste container.